Hi, I'm Phil Constantine, and on this Travels with Phil, we're going to Fonda, New York for the Kateri Home and Shrine. She was the first American Indian Catholic saint, and I believe she was the 10th saint made by the Catholic Church here in the United States.
Travels with Phil continues from Mohawk, New York, at the Shrine for Kateri Tekakwitha, which I'm probably saying wrong. The locals call it Kateri, as in Catherine. Kateri. Others say Kateri. But the locals say that's because her name was Catherine. That was at least her Catholic name. She was a Mohawk Indian. She was the first American Indian, or Native American if you prefer, to be made a saint. And this is her shrine. This is the church. She's from the 1600s. She was born on the other side, south side of Erie. Her original village was burned down due to smallpox. The next one was burned down due to conflict with the French. And this is the scene on the north side of the Erie. This is the scene where the Franciscan friary is, where they found artifacts that lead them to believe this is the actual village where she lived. This used to be an old Dutch barn, and eventually the Franciscans came in, bought it, and turned it into a shrine for her. So there's all kinds of American Indian motifs, artifacts. There's actually a fairly nice museum downstairs. But they do conduct services here. And again, up the hill, a little distance, is where they've discovered where a village actually was by artifacts, archaeologists up there. So, Travels with Phil continues from Mohawk, New York.
All right, this is how you pronounce her name, her Mohawk name. You can see it there. I'm not even going to try. I'm known for not being very good at pronouncing names. And this is the actual barn where the shrine is, the church is in. And this is the sign out front. And this is in Mohawk country. So you'll see some Mohawk stuff as you travel through here, Fonda, and there you go. And it's a nice area, and they have several things here. They believe, again, as you saw in the video there, that this is probably the third place that she might have lived, but this is where she spent a large amount of time. The Franciscans eventually came in here and set up a facility, and then eventually a church was, or a shrine was created. She was lived in the 1600s. She was canonized in 2012, I think it was. So this isn't a rapid made into a saint. And there's all kinds of rules and regulations in the Catholic Church on how that happens. They have a very nice museum here in the lower part. It has some general American Indian kind of stuff in here. It has some stuff specific to her and specific to the Mohawks, but as you'll see in a moment or two here, they even have a painting of Iron Eyes Cody, who is the guy in the old environmental TV commercials. These are some more of the artifacts that were found both at the scene or in the general area. Snowshoes to go through the snow. Obviously, this is in north of the Erie Canal, so it's the central northern part of New York, so they get a lot of snow up here. There you go, her poster, there you go, Iron Eyes Cody. Not sure what he has to do with this area, but some of the artifacts, letters that were discovered or maintained that came from this area or dealt with this region, that's also in the museum. And some interesting stuff. You wouldn't expect too much of a museum at a shrine, but there is. Now, this is the village that's out behind, and I have a video of that coming up. And this is a painting of her. This is a medallion of her. These are some another painting there. And this is a sculpture up in Canada at a church there, and another one. That's a nice one. And then some more looks at the village that was here on this site. I mean, it's quarter of a mile up a hill, but it's same basic area. And so they had longhouses, being Iroquois, Mohawk. They had longhouses, and that's the basic way they lived. And then some information about how the shrine was doing, the Iroquois Constitution that became sort of a basis for the United States Constitution. A little look inside the church there. And a little sentry post. And this is the cemetery out back for the Franciscan brothers and fathers, etc., that have lived here. And so let's go back up in the back and look at the Mohawk village.
Travels with Phil continues. I think earlier I might have said I was in Mohawk. I'm actually in Fonda, New York. And this is the village where Kateri Tekakwitha was lived, and where the shrine is at. Kanawaga Castle site. Not sure if I'm pronouncing that right. And this is the reference for it. This is an archaeological site, and it says out here the white concrete pillars are survey markers. A small white metal post. Part of where they're setting up a grid. The gray post shows where the stockade was, and a small reddish post marked the outer walls of some of the longhouses, and the yellow post marked where the benches or beds, which ran along the interior wall. So these are where the longhouses were out here in this field. I'll bounce around a little bit, get here a little bit more quickly, but you can see here they are. And this is where the longhouses would have run this way. So here's another one there, and over there, there's another one running along that way. Similar on the opposite side. Looks like there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 in front, and might be 5 in the back. Can't tell from this angle. Might actually be 7 over there. And but this is where the first American Indian saint lived. 1600s. And they've come in and done archaeology, and in the museum that they've got at the shrine just down the road, they do have some of the artifacts that have been found here by the archaeologists. So an interesting spot here in Fonda, New York, just north of the Erie Canal.
And as you can see by this, those longhouses really were pretty long. It's impressive. And then here's some more views of the site. My joy for panoramic photos. That's another one. And so you can see the area here. Now there's a spring associated with her. They consider it a sacred spring. Lily of the Mohawks was another name for Kateri. And so this is a still running spring. They've tried to put some concrete around it, but it's still a spring. And then there's some pictures from the Mohawk community in the same general area of Fonda, New York. Thank you for watching this video. If you liked it, please give it a thumbs up by clicking on the button below. You're welcome to leave comments below as long as the language is family friendly. And finally, if you'd like to see more of my videos, please subscribe to my channel by clicking the button over on the bottom right-hand corner. Thank you again for watching.